For you, if you're a business owner or a creative and you're not on some social media of some sort, then no one's seeing your work. Your work's not getting out to the right people. You're not going to get booked.
I can put, I won't say I don't know, I'm not going to say I'm going to put my life on it, but I can 99.9, recurring 9% guarantee you, hand on heart, if something happened five minutes ago, it was on Twitter 16 minutes ago. Twitter is fast.
It was quite a surprise to see the same people who are now jumping on it, because why? They were going to get left behind.
Yeah.
And they obviously realized that.
Hi guys, it's Dems.
And it's Compton, and welcome to the Be Cool Studios podcast.
Right, I have been waiting to talk to you about this for a while. And today's topic, is social media still a benefit in photography?
100%.
Elaborate.
For me, because one main reason, we are constantly on our phones.
Right? That is true.
And it is the one place that you can, when we talk about marketing and reach out to clients, and the quickest way for clients to find you. So this is why I think it's still, to this day, a benefit. Yes, there are going to be things that they're going to introduce that people may or may not like, but that's the name of the game. That's the nature of the game. Things change and evolve. So does these platforms, these social media platforms. They change and evolve on a consistent basis. So for you, if you're a business owner or a creative and you're not on some social media of some sort, then no one's seeing your work. Your work's not getting out to the right people. You're not going to get booked. People are not going to talk about your business. People are going to talk about your brand.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose I see the merits in it. And to jump straight in, Instagram. Now, I remember Instagram from its inception, picture sharing format, but Instagram has evolved, should I say. So if we were to start the conversation off with Instagram, in your opinion, how have you seen Instagram in recent years from a photographer's perspective? Is that still the go-to place to share your work as a photographer? And if so, what are the benefits of using Instagram? Is there a particular way to use it as a photographer?
Yeah, there is still benefit to using it. I still think it has, personally, I think it has the lion's share of creatives when it comes to photographers, models, makeup artists. But obviously you've got other things that are played a part in Instagram evolvement, or whatever you can call it, over the past couple of years. That's kind of pushed Instagram towards becoming more of a short format video thing.
Why would you say that?
Because Reels.
Yeah.
And they are obviously trying to, let's not even kid ourselves, trying to compete with TikTok, right? The one thing that I've always done is stay on top of everything that's going on. So I follow accounts like Instagram creator accounts, which gives you all the latest and updated news on what they're planning to do, and things that they're looking to implement, etc. And I also stay on top of some of the stuff that the creatives from America, because it seems America, because Instagram is sort of like an American based company, isn't it? So America always gets the news first before us anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm always on top of it from that perspective as well. So yeah, I think Instagram's still, for me, the place to be, but it's slowly becoming a bit of a chore having to use Instagram for your socials, because of how much things you have to remember to do.
Yeah.
But that don't mean it's a bad thing. It's just that you just got to change with it, because if you don't, I personally feel like if you don't change as Instagram's changing, you will get left behind.
Yeah.
Right? Because all the other platforms that are coming up again, or starting up now, they've got to then build up that notoriety when it comes to the creative industry. So Instagram already have that.
Yeah.
Right? obviously people are going to say that, yeah, I'm not doing this because blah, 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 whatever, right? That's just the nature of humankind. We're always going to object to certain things when we're not nobody. And a prime example of this is, like I talk about staying on top of things. I was on top of stories and Instagram reels a long time ago, and I started making them, subconsciously making them during my shoots, making behind the scenes stuff. And you've seen the benefits of that and what that led to happened with me and a certain account on Instagram.
Yeah.
Shout out ISO 1200.
Yeah.
Because these guys usually, the content that they post is usually based around BTS and showing the behind the scenes of your shoots, your creative process, etc. So I did it with that in mind, to maybe one day be featured on their account, right? And then that led to obviously hearing about this whole reel and Instagram going towards more reels. So I shared this information with a couple of other creatives at the time when I first heard about it, and I was just like, you know what? I think you guys should definitely be making more reels now, because I think that's where we're gonna be at in a couple of years, in a couple of months or whatever. But to say the least, right? Some people were like, nah, it's not for me.
Some people are resistant to change.
But guess what? 8 months, 9 months down the line, who's making more reels than I do?
Yeah.
These same people are making more reels. The same. But I'm not going to be that hypocrite to go back and tell them that I told you so.
Yeah.
Right? I'll just focus on me and doing my own thing and creating my own reels, right? Yeah, so it was quite a surprise to see the same people who are now jumping on it, because why? They were going to get left behind.
Yeah.
And they obviously realized that they were going to get left behind. So they had to jump on the bandwagon. As much as people criticize these things that Instagram and all these other social media are doing, they have no choice but to jump on it.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts in terms of how do you use Instagram now? And, I remember telling you about making more behind the scenes as well, didn't I?
Did. So, I'm a bit of a... What's the word? I'm in a bit of a conundrum because I look at... So I'm a man now where I try and live a life as behind the scenes as possible. Do you know what I mean? I like keeping my private life private, whatever. And I suppose I'll be honest with you, this is a Be Cool podcast. This is a place for honesty. I begrudgingly use social media. And when I say begrudgingly, I mean, I understand the merits of it. If you are going to do any type of business in the age of social media and the age of content, if you aren't putting yourself out there to showcase your work on these popular platforms, you are going to get left behind. So I find that when I'm on shoots, for example, what has benefited me is, off the advice that you gave me, as a photographer now, it isn't as simple of whether you're on location or whether you're in a studio. It's legit not as simple as just picking up your camera and taking a picture and posting a picture. It's exactly what you said. People like the BTS content, so they also like the reels. So as a photographer now, you start thinking to yourself, right, it's not just a shoot anymore. I need to get BTS. And if you're by yourself, how do you transition that conversation with your client to say, within the shoot, oh, do you mind if I just take some quick reels, whatever? How have you done it?
It's a difficult conversation to have. When it first started, it was quite a touchy subject, because obviously at the end of the day, the client is paying you to do a job.
Yeah.
Right? You got to go out and do that best job possible. You can't be like mess around with just to make phone content so that you can post on social media. You're there to do a job for that client.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, it's kind of changed because clients are now coming asking for that type of content as well, on top of the stuff that they actually want you to do. So there's a little bit more leeway, and clients are a little bit more flexible and understanding.
Yeah.
Which is obviously helped in my business and help Be Cool Studios, that that they're like that, because then at least you're not gonna, quote unquote, get in trouble
Yeah.
or cause some grievance with a client because you're focused on making reels. Like, it don't say like take your whole shoot. Like, literally, like, it takes like 2-3 minutes. It's super annoying how limited time you need to do it. But the actual creation of the reel is what takes a long time.
Yeah.
And one way of get around and doing that now is by using, and again, this is what I mean about staying on top of Instagram. There are ways on Instagram where you can use the template already created by other creatives. Music's already added, everything's already added. Use those template and just add your images and videos to it.
What would you say has been the benefits of incorporating reels in your photography?
Client exposure. Like, more clients have seen my work, not only from where our demographic, but also out of other countries who have now messaged me asking me questions about, oh, what was your camera settings? What was this? I love that. I love this. How did you do this? How did you do that? Love your work, blah, blah, blah. So exposure has been probably the biggest benefit, and reaching out to people that I wouldn't necessarily, reach out to if I was just doing photos, because the photos that I currently post on my Instagram page and my social media are primarily photos that are like fashion, editorial, portraits, that type of stuff. So I'm also now reaching out to clients who want headshots. Like, I have got headshot clients, but clients who didn't think I do headshots. I come and reach out to me. Oh, do you do headshots?
And this is off the back of reels.
Events, and this is all the back of seeing me doing more reels and seeing me work and how I work as well.
Would you say reels are? Would you say reels are now necessary?
Yes, they are necessary, but like you said, they can be a pain.
Yeah,
they can be a pain to create. That's the main thing. It's like create, like people. There are people who are now legitimately just focusing on just creating reels on a day-to-day basis for their business.
Yeah,
there's photographers I've seen who are creating more reels than they're actually posting content of the actual work.
Yeah. Would you say there's like an optimum length for a reel? Because with so many different avenues for social media and with so many different styles, would you say reels are, how can I put it?
There's no special recipe.
There's no special recipe, but because there's so many different avenues, and in general, our attention span sometimes it's very small. Is there like an optimum length for a reel?
Not necessarily, but we talk about this a lot. Content, the actual content, how you put it together, the pieces that you put together.
Yeah.
Like the music, the video, the photos. How you put it all together is what's gonna draw the attention of the hair. I've seen reels that are 6 seconds, and I can watch them over and over and over because the content is sick. The music draws me in, the visuals draws me in.
Yeah.
So,
and then with the rise of TikTok, I suppose. Now, I said this on one of the previous episodes. I'm showing my age by the way I say with the rise of TikTok, because again, I am genuinely now only on social media for, business purposes, because I understand it is something that is required. Have you delved into the TikTok avenue? And if so, how have you found that space?
Quite similar. And one of the blessings about Reels and TikTok is that if you save the Reels that you make on Instagram, you can repurpose those Reels on TikTok.
And is it the same format, or do you have to crop different?
No, it's all 16:9 format. So it's cross platform. The only thing, you don't get the same music, but you can obviously use music based on that's on those platforms themselves. You just basically save the exact same reel twice. You can save it once on your phone and distribute it twice on different platforms. So I have delved into TikTok, but I do find TikTok more towards not necessarily photographers and thingy, but towards dancing.
Yeah.
No, it has become popular because of all the memes, the dancing, etc. that happens on there. Whereas I find reels are more catered to creatives themselves. You still
Yeah.
have the same things, but it's not as dominant like as it is on TikTok. And you'll see people who are into like the music and stuff. You'll have people who play music. I know someone who's really big on there who plays drums
Yeah.
and teaches you how to play drums in 60 seconds. Like little short burst 60-second videos, or get straight to the point.
Yeah.
And that's one of the good things. Like it has his, and also I think it's all like you talk about, touch on age thing.
Yeah.
I generally think, and this gonna make call me names if you want. This is gonna make me sound old as well, even though yeah.
I mean, you're older than me, and I'm
Is that I feel like TikTok really caters for the younger generation.
Yeah.
When I say younger, I say they say 14 to 20.
Okay.
20-year-olds, right? But don't mean that someone over 20 can't be popular and can't be famous or make a living using that. But also, it's been noted in the press that TikTok does not pay as well as
the other platforms. So, I mean, in the space we're in now, in 2022, in essence, you can't just be a photographer anymore because you have to be multidisciplined. And I suppose on one hand, you are a photographer, whatever your avenue of photography is, and you'll post your images to your platforms. But then there's this need now for behind the scenes, people like knowing how things work.
Yeah.
So in essence, what are you telling me? You're saying that, it'll be good to obviously be a photographer, post your content on Insta, but with the rise of the Reels and TikTok, could a photographer then share like the BTS content on the TikTok and then somehow leverage the audience from TikTok over to...
Yep. And also you can link your Instagram account to TikTok, surprisingly, so...
I didn't know
which
that.
Obviously that's another way of people to discover you as well. So if someone come across your video by a whim, you can link your Instagram page and that leads them back straight to your Instagram page. So it's a win-win situation for me. Being on each platform is a win-win situation.
Yeah.
But just quickly caveat into a different platform, which has been making a lot of heat wave recently and headway.
Great segue.
Into talking about thingy is I find, and it's going to sound really random, but LinkedIn. I didn't use LinkedIn the same way that I used to use LinkedIn before.
Yeah.
Now, because I have noticed, especially when it comes to like the corporate clients that I work with, right? I posted one set of images recently. Bear in mind, I work with these clients on a regular basis. Never posted any of the photos. The first time I posted some of those photos, bam, took off. Like so many people have messaged me and said, "Oh, I didn't know you do headshots and things." Like, oh, yeah, I've been doing headshots for a minute. It's all over my socials. Like, yeah, but we never really saw it. But so now I'm starting to have to create content for that as well. I remember that I have to post on there. The content works across all platforms. I just got to remember to post it. So I'm having to set reminders to post stuff on LinkedIn so I can drive traffic from LinkedIn back to my website, back to my email, people emailing me, messaging me and calling me and stuff. So I'm using LinkedIn a lot more. I find myself using LinkedIn a lot more. It might come as a surprise to some people, but it's a great place for photographers and creatives, I find, especially now. I'm seeing more and more creatives, studios, makeup artists, stylists, even actual big brands on there as well. More prevalent, or if you say, they're there. And I know you've obviously used it for your work that you do now a lot as well. So what you think of that side of things and using that side? Because that platform is technically was made for more business-minded people, aren't they?
So I've only just started recently using LinkedIn because of my new job where I am. And we deal with a lot of, anything from startups to big global brands. So we deal with a lot of, key stakeholders, a lot of people who are in like marketing, for example, or CEOs, CFOs, whatever the terms are, etc. But what I find with LinkedIn is it's a place where it's quote unquote more professional,
corporate clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then because of that, it is also a great place to leverage and network. And we always say networking is absolutely key. It's so key. So we've just recently set up our LinkedIn page for the studio. And why I think LinkedIn is a good place for a photographer is, you know, look, if you are taking this seriously as a photographer, LinkedIn is a great place to be, because all it takes, for example, exactly as you said, let's say you are a wedding photographer or a fashion photographer or e-com, brands, whatever. All it takes is for one person high up in a company, like someone who's head of marketing or like the actual the
Creative
CEO
director.
or creative director, to see that image, then get in touch with you and say, oh my gosh, love your work, would like to speak in more detail. And then, you know, look at your example, headshot. All it takes is for one company to see that they've got 30 staff, they need headshots for the staff. You give them a corporate rate, they will use you residually when they need new corporate shots. Because you then put that image on LinkedIn, they will then share the images. They will be like, oh my God, I know this great photographer who actually did it. And the next thing you know, you start getting residual income off the back of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So yeah, LinkedIn is something that I've only just recently delved in, but it is a literal gold mine of opportunities to network.
I didn't know that was that many. And talking about gold mine of opportunities, let's talk about a gold mine that's been there for a minute, that, you know, quietly go about his business. Twitter. Still hot.
I smile because Twitter is... Twitter can sometimes be a lawless place.
Oh yeah, it's full of a lot of things that are thingy, but it's still useful, I think,
100%.
for creatives, for photographers, if you understand it and know how to use it right.
Yeah.
People tend to get frustrated with these things, you know, because they don't understand what they're doing or understand, you know, the direction that the app or the company is going.
Yeah.
Right. Change is always going to happen. It's part and parcel of what happens with society. Things change on a normal basis.
Off the back of what you just said about change is always going to happen, like Twitter is perhaps the go-to place I go to for news. I don't go on like Google or BBC. Don't know if I should have said that or not. I don't know why. Might edit that bit out. But Twitter is like the go-to place for news. Everything happens so fast. Like if something happens 5 minutes ago, I can put, I won't say I don't know, I'm not going to say I'm going to put my life on it, but I can 99.9 recurring 9% guarantee you, hand on heart, if something happened five minutes ago, it was on Twitter 16 minutes ago. Twitter is fast.
Yeah, they're on it. It's good, but it's still useful for creatives. Like, you know, there's still ways of thinking. It's a lot harder to probably, unless you've already got a decent following.
Yeah.
And you know, utilize that. It's a lot harder to crack, but it's still an opportunity to share your work, etc. So, you know, being on top of it. And then obviously, along with Twitter, you've got the other godfather of social media.
Gotta say it.
Facebook.
Facebook is the OG. Now, I don't know the exact numbers. I won't try to pretend. But recently, a few months ago, I was doing like some research about like some marketing stuff. And from what I gathered, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, anybody, when you do watch this, I believe Facebook is still number one in terms of people that use it in the world. Like Facebook still ranks number one. So Facebook has to still be mentioned. Now, when you look at a business, for example, now, so let's say you got your Instagram, right? And you set up a business profile from your Instagram. You can obviously link it to your Facebook. So you create a Facebook page, and then when you post on Instagram, you can actually link your post from Instagram to go directly to Facebook and to Twitter.
Yeah.
And then you can obviously create your Facebook page that you can start building a community where people still follow your Facebook, but Facebook is still a great place to leverage your work.
100%. Like I got a lot of my first like initial work came through Facebook.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of older generation, I want to say older, like our age,
Yeah. Speak
who
for yourself.
use and still use Facebook.
Yeah.
So I do find that Facebook is more catered. When we talk about before, we talk about with TikTok catering for more the teens.
Yeah.
Facebook caters for more the
Adults.
adult. You wouldn't say necessarily adults because
Older.
the older
demographic.
generation. So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
looking at anywhere between 25 to like
Plus.
even I know people who are like in their 60s.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like are still on 80s. I know grandmas who was on Facebook. Like, oh love, I saw your photo. Beautiful.
You
photo,
literally just took the words, I love Facebook. Or the aunties in Jamaica,
what I'm
America,
saying?
Guyana, you post something.
They-
Yes, look what my nephew do.
You see what I'm saying?
And
So-
he's a sharing. Listen, Facebook's
But
still key.
they'll go tell their little friends down the cafe, like, oh, my grandson or my does this, like, this is it. Look, and they're showing it.
And the family abroad always proud of you. Anything you do in it, they share it everywhere.
It's still relevant, and I still get clients from there. Like, there's groups. There's this one always get me. Like, there's groups. There's moms and pops groups.
Yeah.
That created on Facebook, right? That people would look for stuff like. For instance, where we are, like there's a group in Manchester called Manchester Photographers or something like that.
Yeah, like
right?
and makeup artists.
Makeup artists and
Like
stuff that
thousands of
go
people in
right?
there.
Good. There's also a similar group where I live in my village,
Right.
basically called Wimslow Moms.
Okay.
And the amount of people that go on there looking
The
for
money man there, Don't let the people. Don't listen. Don't. Let's turn the camera to me. Listen, Uncle Compton got money, Swing it back to him. Go on.
Wimslow Moms, right? Every single week I'm getting tagged in something
Yeah.
that someone is looking for a photographer.
Mm.
And it shows the competitiveness of the
Yeah.
industry,
Yeah.
but also the word of mouth part comes in really handy with that because people who post on there are usually posting because they've used you or they've worked with you or you've done something for them or
Yeah.
you've done something where they were there, they were present and they saw you and network with you. And then they share that with those people that come up, reach out and ask for client.
Yeah.
So Facebook is still, for me, for me right now, I will put them in this category for what I do and how I use it. I will go Instagram because I'm on there more often and I've already had I've built a solid following on there. Then I will put Facebook, then TikTok for me, in that order for me. And then I'll start with Twitter, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is kind of like there.
Kind of new.
But on the back of that, let's talk about
One more. Actually, there's two more.
Well,
One you know more about.
yeah.
And then the other one we won't know more about. Sorry, I interrupted.
But YouTube,
That's the one.
it's what we're doing this on, right? And it's still the one that pays the most,
Yes, it does.
right? And YouTube has also recently launched their own version of short format videos called Shorts.
Let me quickly jump in. Right, boom, watch this. I could talk about I don't watch TikTok, right? I don't have TikTok. However, the other day, a couple of weeks ago, I was on YouTube and then I found this I can't even remember the name of his channel. This brother that does skits. He wears wigs, right?
Yeah.
I have not wasted. I have enjoyed so many hours watching his content to the point my partner's like, see, you might as well just get TikTok. I'm like, no, I don't need TikTok. She's like, you're basically watching TikTok. I was like, no, I'm watching this brother here because he's funny. I'm not getting lost in the rabbit hole of TikTok. But again, this is me going back from the start. Maybe it's me being resistant to change, but YouTube Shorts, as you were saying.
Yeah, and YouTube Shorts are really popping off. And I've been on YouTube for as long as I can remember. I think it's almost about 15 years now that I've been on YouTube. So what I've been doing recently is I've been posting more shorts. And I've been seeing a lot more.
How are you finding the engagement from the shorts?
Oh, different levels. Like, it depends as well. I think it's time of the day, and it also comes down to your hashtags you use and keywording, which we know YouTube is very renowned for. Like, you got to use the right hashtag, got to use the right keywords, etc., to drive traffic towards that way. But YouTube's also come out recently and said that they are going to be rewarding more what's the word, smaller creators.
Yes, they
on
have
the platform.
Yeah.
So hence why you're seeing a lot more push with smaller creators. Like myself, up today was the day I learned that I posted 100 videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right, like I 100 videos, not the greatest videos, but I've posted 100 videos, and that's the start.